Hi friends, good morning. Welcome to CivTech Simplified. We are presenting part 7 of Structural Analysis series of videos. In this video part, we will be presenting 25 multiple choice questions for your next exam. These questions have been designed for civil engineers who are preparing themselves for any sort of competitive exams, whether it is provincial or state level or at federal level, or you are going to appear in any sort of job interviews or university assignments or tests. Today's topic is structural analysis, and remember the correct answers would be clearly highlighted so that you could review them effectively. So let's get started with today's part. As you know, we have already discussed under this topic part 1 to part 6 and 25 questions in each video were shared. So in total, we have so far explained 150 questions under this topic. So question number 151 is Euler's formula for mild steel column is not applicable if slenderness ratio is less than. It's Euler's formula for mild steel column is not applicable if slenderness ratio is less than option A 80, option B 160, option C 240, option D 320. So A is the correct answer for this question. If the slenderness ratio is less than 80, then Euler formula is not applicable for mild steel columns. Question 152. Euler's crippling load of a square column cross section will be dash if its side is doubled. Euler's crippling load of a square column cross section will be dash if its side is doubled. Option A 2 times, option B 1 by 2 times, option C 16 times, option D 1 by 4 times. C is the correct answer, 16 times. Euler's crippling load of a square column cross section will be 16 times if its side is doubled. Question 153. Euler's column theory is applicable only if dash stress are negligible in comparison to dash stress. I will again read the question. Euler's column theory is applicable only if dash stress are negligible in comparison to dash stresses. Option A bending and axial. Option B axial and bending. Option C shear and bending. Option D axial and shear. So B is the correct series. It's axial and bending. Euler's column theory is applicable only if axial stresses are negligible in comparison to bending stresses. So B is the correct option for this question. 154. A rectangular column has dimensions B into D, where D is greater than B and different and conditions in both directions. The column will buckle in the direction, option A, in which slenderness ratio is larger, option B, in which slenderness ratio is smaller, option C, direction of B, option D, direction of D. A rectangular column has dimensions B into D, where D is greater than B, and different end conditions are applied on both directions. The column will buckle in the direction, option A, in which slenderness ratio is larger. So A is the correct answer for this question. Question 155. Factor of safety and safety factors are dash. Factor of safety and safety factors are dash. Option A same, option B different, option C equal, option D none. Factor of safety and safety factors are different. B is the correct answer for this question. 156. A column is having initial curvature and is loaded by axial load. The axial load carrying capacity of column dash due to initial curvature. A column is having initial curvature and is loaded by axial load. The axial load carrying capacity of column dash due to initial curvature. Option A increase, option B remains same, option C decreases, option D depends on modulus of elasticity. So the axial load carrying capacity of column decreases due to initial curvature. C is the correct answer for this question. Axial load carrying capacity of column, load carrying capacity of the column decreases. Question 157. The formula which can be used for column load to account combined effect of bending and direct stresses is. What is the formula which is used to account for the combined effect of bending moment and direct stresses? Option A, Parry's formula. Option B, Euler's formula. Option C, Rankine formula. Option D, straight line formula. So the formula in which both bending as well as direct stresses are accounted is Parry's formula. A is the correct answer for this question. Question 158. Euler's theory is applicable for. Euler's theory is applicable for option A, short column, option B, any sort of column, option C, long column, option D, intermediate column. So Euler theory is applicable for longer columns. C is the correct answer for this question. Question 159. Struts are load carrying members of a frame structure which are subjected to. Struts are load carrying members of a frame structure which are subjected to. Option A, axial tension load. Option B, axial compressive loads. Option C, torsional loads. Option D, transverse loads. So struts are load carrying members of a frame structure which are subjected to option B, axial compressive loads. B is the correct answer for this question. Question 160. Euler's theory is applicable when? When Euler's theory is applicable, option A, column is initially straight. Option B, self-weight of column is accounted in analysis. Option C, column fails by crushing. Option D, cross-section is non-prismatic. Euler's theory is applicable when option A, column is initially straight. After buckling, the Euler theory is not applicable. Question 161. Struts are load-carrying members of a truss structure which are subjected to option A, axial tensile loads, option B, axial compressive loads, option C, torsional loads, option D, transverse load. So struts are the members, whether it is in truss structures or in frame structures, these are the members which are subjected to axial compressive loads. So B is the correct option for this question. Question number 162. A uniform girder simply supported at its ends is subjected to a uniformly distributed load over its entire length and is propped at the center so as to neutralize the deflection. The net bending moment at the center will be, consider W is equal to W into L. Yes, the uniform distributed load. So A is equal to WL, B WL by 8, C WL by 24, and option D WL by 32. So B is the correct option. The net bending moment at the center will be WL by 8. B is the correct option for this question. Question 163. A propped cantilever will have dash reaction. Option A 2, option B 3, option C 1, option D 4. D is the correct option. It would have 4 reactions. Question 164. If the moment applied at hinged end of a prismatic propped cantilever, then the moment at the fixed end will be. If the moment applied at the hinged end of a prismatic propped cantilever, then the moment at the fixed end will be option A m, option B m by 2, option C m by 3, option D m by 4. So B is the correct option. The moment at the fixed end will be m by 2. B is the correct option for this question. Question 165. If propped cantilever beam carries uniform distributed load W kilonewton per meter throughout the span, then the reaction at propped end is option A 5 by 8 WL, option B 3 by 8 WL, option C 1 by 2 WL, option D 3 by 4 WL. If propped cantilever beam carries uniformly distributed load at W kilonewton per meter throughout the span, then the reaction at propped end is 3 by 8 WL. B is the correct answer for this question. 166. For a beam having fixed ends, the unknown element of reactions is. For a beam having fixed ends, the unknown element of reactions is option A horizontal components at either end, option B vertical components at either end, option C horizontal components at one end and vertical component at the other, option D horizontal and vertical components at both ends. So D is the correct option. For a beam having fixed ends, the unknown element of reaction is horizontal and vertical components at the both ends. D is the correct option. 167. Fixed end moment over simply supported end is. Fixed end moment over simply supported end is option A 0, option B negative, option C positive, and option D infinity. So fixed end moment over simply supported end is negative. B is the correct option for this question. Question 168. If the end B of a continuous beam ABC sinks down, if the end B of a continuous beam ABC sinks down, then the moment at point A will be option A 0, option B anti-clockwise, option C clockwise, option D infinity. So the moment at A will be anti-clockwise. B is the correct answer for this question. Question 169. Bending moment and slope at the end of fixed support of a fixed beam loaded by UDL is dash and dash respectively. The bending moment and slope at the end of a fixed support of a fixed beam loaded by uniformly distributed load is dash and dash respectively. Option A minimum and 0, option B maximum and 0, option C 0 and maximum, option D 0 and minimum. The bending moment and slope at the end of fixed support of a fixed beam load by UDL is maximum and 0 respectively. So B is the correct answer for this question. Question 170. The load on a spring per unit deflection is called. The load on a spring per unit deflection is called option A stiffness, option B proof resilience, option C proof stress, option D proof load. The load on a spring per unit deflection is called option A stiffness. A is the correct answer for this question, stiffness. Question 171. The moment distribution method is best suited for? The moment distribution method is best suited for option A, indeterminate pin jointed truss, option B, rigid frame, option C, space frame, option D, composite structure. MDM is best suited for rigid frames. B is the correct answer for this question. Question 172. The ratio of the stiffness of beam at near end when far end is hinged to the stiffness when end is fixed is. So question is about the ratio of the stiffness of a beam at near end in case when the far end is hinged to the stiffness of the beam when the far end is fixed. A is 1 by 2, B is 3 by 4, C is 1 and D is 4 by 3. Yes, the ratio would be option B, 3 by 4. The ratio of stiffness of the beam at near end when far end is hinged to the stiffness of the beam when far end is fixed is 3 by 4. B is the correct answer for this question. Question number 173. In a two-span continuous beam loaded by uniformly distributed load, point of contraflexure exists. Where the point of contraflexure exists in a two-span continuous beam loaded with uniformly distributed load. A, at midpoint. Option B, in both spans near midspot. Option C, near end spot. Option D, at the far end spot. So C is the correct answer. The point of contraflexure will exist at near end spot. C is the correct answer for this question. Question 174. In cantilever beam, tension will generate near. In a cantilever beam, tension will generate near option A, near bottom surface, option B, near top surface, option C, at center, option D, nowhere. In a cantilever beam, tension will generate near option B, near top surface. B is the correct option for this question. Question 175. Point of contraflexure is located where? Option A, bending moment is maximum. Option B, bending moment is minimum. Option C, bending moment is zero. Option D, none of the above. The point of contraflexure is located where? Option C, bending moment is zero. C is the correct answer for this question. Thank you for watching. You have completed part 7 of Structural Analysis MCQ series. I hope these questions would help civil engineers like you who are preparing for Provincial Public Service Commission exams or Federal Public Service Commission exam or SSC JE in India, RRB, or any sort of such exams. Please subscribe to CivTech Simplified for upcoming videos. You can send your suggestions at civtechsimplified@gmail.com. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.